Hello everyone and welcome to my next video in the C programming series where we learn to program in C from a video game perspective. So last time we set up our basic application which contains some code that we don't completely understand, right? And so what we're going to do this time is we're going to step through some of those things. So the very first thing that we want to do is we want to explain what this very first line is. This pound include is basically telling the compiler, hey, we want to take everything that's in this file and include it as if we'd written it right here, right? Why would we want to do that? Well, because the C language only provides so many things, right? It provides different types of variables for you. It provides different types of operators like adding things together, subtracting things of that nature. But it does not actually provide functionality. Functions like printf, and we'll get more into functions in a little bit. This printf, this scanf, these things are actually provided by this file right here, right? This what's known as a header file. So this header file will contain what's known as declarations, and declarations are sort of a way to tell the compiler like, hey, I've got this thing named this that's coming. I don't have a definition for it yet, but be aware that it's on the way. And that provides us things like our printf and our scanf here. Right, and again, I'll go into these functions more as time continues. So that is basically what this line does. We'll get more into detail once we actually get to writing header files, but for now, just sort of accept that at face value that basically anytime you have this include, it takes anything from this file and inputs it there, right? Don't worry about where this file comes from also. We will get into that in the future video. Okay, so the next thing we have is this thing called main, right? And this is a function. I've mentioned this before. We have our entry point, right? So it's basically saying that anything that is inside these blocks is part of main, right? So you have this open curly brace and this closed curly brace. And again, I will get more into functions later on. It's not really important for right now. Okay, and then we are doing this printf thing, which basically writes some text to the console. And that's all well and good, but we are going to get rid of that guy for now, right? Because we don't need it. Eventually we will, but for now we don't need it. Then finally we have our character C. This is where we wait for our input, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to input what we call a comment. And a comment is basically free-form text that you can enter that doesn't get processed as code, right? Because when you process this file, things have to be laid out in a certain way. There are certain tokens like these parentheses or these curly braces that have to be used. And so a comment sort of allows us to put text in there, like notes to ourselves as to what something does, which is exactly what we're going to do here. So in C, there are a couple of ways to write comments, right? The first is to put 2 slashes, and you'll notice that it turned that text green, and that indicates to us that anything that's green is a comment. And so we'll just say wait for input, right? And this doesn't get processed as code. When the compiler actually reads this file, it completely ignores that. Now that we have that here, we're basically going to say anything that's below this line we are not going to worry about right now. I'll explain that as we go. So this is one type of comment, which is a single line comment. So a single line comment basically says anything after these double slashes for the whole rest of the line until we actually go to this next line is not code, it's a comment. It's just free-form text. We don't care about it, ignore it, right? There's also something called a multi-line comment, which is a /*, right? And you'll notice Visual Studio actually filled in a // right? And so what that means is anything between these sequences of characters is a comment, no matter how many lines it is, right? And so what this is saying is the /* starts the comment and the // ends the comment, right? Whereas we did not have an end sequence for the single line, right? The end sequence for a single line is the end of the line, right? In this case, we just have a start and we have an end, right? So that means that we can type stuff here. We can go down a couple lines, type stuff here. These asterisks are automatically inserted by Visual Studio, but we don't have to have those. but we do have to have the one here to actually end that, right? And it basically says that we can put any text in here in between those two things that we want, and it will be completely ignored by the compiler. We will get lots of use out of comments as we continue through this series, right? Especially once we get into actually developing a game with the Homebrew Junior series, if you're following along with that. Okay, so that's comments. Next thing I want to talk about is variables, right? So in programs are all about managing data, right? It's about setting data, reading data in, modifying that data, and outputting data, right? Whether it's text data, image data, what have you, right? All the various types of data have different representations in code, right? Some data is numbers, right? And we have different types of numbers. We have whole integers, right? For example, that are just whole numbers, and those can be positive or negative. We have decimal numbers, for example, that have a decimal point, so they're fractional numbers. And then we have some other types, like a character, like A or B, for example. And we have some other types on top of that as well, right? And so the first one I want to talk about is an integer, which we have already actually seen up here, right? And so the way that you declare a variable, right, which is basically saying I'm creating a variable to store an integer value, is you say int, right? You don't type integer in C, it's just int, right? So you type int, and I'm just going to call this I, right? And after that, we have a semicolon. Most lines actually end with a semicolon. Specifically, statements end with a semicolon, right? So it's not necessarily just the end of a line that has these. It's what's called a statement, right? And a statement is essentially a single instruction, if you will, right? So in this case, we are stating that we have an integer I that we're creating, right? So since it's a statement, we put a semicolon after it, right? So now we've said, okay, we're going to create a variable called I. Right, but I doesn't actually have anything into it, right? A variable is kind of useless if you can't actually set it to something, right? Like it should hold some sort of numeric value. And so in order to do that, we can say I, which is the name of our variable, and then we can use the equal sign to set it to some number, right? So we can say 23, right? And then this is another example of a statement, right? We are stating that I is equal to 23, right? And because it's a statement, we have a semicolon at the end, right? So we've declared I, and then we set I to 23. And so what I'm going to do is show you guys sort of how this runs. Now, one thing that is invaluable to know when you're programming is a process called debugging. And debugging is basically essentially what it sounds like, right? It's running through the code to eliminate bugs in the software, or trying to figure out where a bug in the software is, right? Because nobody writes software perfect the first time around. There's always going to be bugs. No matter what you do, there's always bugs. And so there's a process called debugging, and one of those things is actually the ability to attach what's called a debugger to it, which is another program that runs alongside your application that's capable of reading and interacting with the application in such a way where it allows you to see what's happening with your application at certain points in time. And so in this case, Visual Studio also contains a debugger. And that's been referenced up here where we have local Windows debugger, right? I'm not going to go into what these other types are, but for right now, local Windows debugger is what we're going to use, right? So when we launch using this versus just running the application, Visual Studio actually attaches a process or a debugger to that process that's running. Process is another term for an actively running executable. It attaches a debugger to that to allow us to interact with it, right, in ways that you normally could not interact with it if it were just running by itself. And what I mean by that is we could set something called a breakpoint, which is basically a point in the application where we're saying, when we get to this line of code of execution, stop, pause the application, and show me what's happening there, right? And so the way that you do that, you have this sort of gutter in here over to the left of these line numbers, and you can actually you can click that, and when you do, this red dot appears, and that basically is saying when we get to this point in the application, we want to stop the application and see what's happened here. Another way to do that is if you are on a particular line and you just want to insert a breakpoint without actually having to go over here and hunt and click that, you can just press F9 and it'll actually add and remove a breakpoint as you press it, right? And so that's what we're going to do. And so now when we press F5, right, we get our window here. And we get some other stuff. I will explain what these other windows are for and how to get to them. But you'll notice that we have actually broken on this line 6, right? We had set it on line 5, but line 5 doesn't actually do anything other than declare a variable, right? So line 6 is actually saying, okay, we're going to assign 23 to this variable, right? And so just in case I didn't cover that before, this is the assignment operator, right? So we're saying it's equal. And an operator is basically just what you might think from this context, right? Where we can set something equal, or we can check equality, or we can add, subtract, divide, multiply. There's a bunch of different operators available in C. But the one we're interested in right now is the assignment operator, which is a single equals. Okay, so we're saying that I is going to be set to 23. However, since we're broken on this line, that means that this line has not yet executed. So if we were to hover over I right now, you'll notice that we get some random rubbish value here. And this is a very important thing to note in C, right? Is before a variable is actually assigned to, it generally contains garbage data unless you do what's called zeroing that out. We'll cover that when we get a little bit down the road in terms of memory use, right? But it's important to note that if you do not assign a value to a variable, that the data that is contained in it is rubbish. And so if we proceed past this line, we'll note that it changes from this rubbish value to 23, right? And so to proceed to the next line, you'll want to hit F10 on your keyboard. And when you do that, you'll see that it jumps down to the scanf line, right? But if we hover over I, we now see that it's been set to 23, right? So we could see that I now contains the value of 23, and we could do with that what we want, right? Another important thing to note is we have this watch window down here. What this allows you to do is essentially say, I want to watch for the value of something. Whenever we break the application at a breakpoint, we want to say, I want to know what a particular value is without having to hover over it, right? Because this is kind of a pain in the butt if you're having a value that changes a lot of times rapidly, which we will. Right, so we want to say, I want to know what I is at this point. So you just put the name of the variable in there and hit enter, and you'll see that it gives you the value of that variable, right? So if we stop the application and run it again, you'll see that the crappy value that's in there is there because we haven't assigned to this yet, right? And then when we step over, you'll see that it turns red and now displays 23. And what that basically means is this value has changed and it is now 23. That is basically variables and assignment and how variables work. Next video, we will actually cover some other types of variables besides just integers, right? Because integers are super useful, but there are other types besides just that, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. Hit the little bell there just to get a notification as to when the next video in this series drops, and I will see you guys in the next video.